Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year. We're into 2021. It has been a while since I have been with you. I'm so excited to be back and bringing in these experts and gurus to help make 2021 better for you, whether it's in your business or personally. And don't think that if I have someone on that is a business-related coach or consultant, that you can't get anything from it, because a lot of times the same strategies work in our personal lives that do in our business, and that is very apparent when I see the same core belief system sabotaging both business, weight loss, you name it. It goes across the board, relationships. So keep in mind, listen. Jump on. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening. I got a couple people on already. You can make comments in the fields underneath on Facebook, and I will get them. If you have any questions, let us know. I am so excited to introduce our guest today. And I know I'm going to screw up your first name, so please tell me your first name.
I'm Antoniette Rose.
See, Antonina, see, I knew I could do that, but thank you. And you're a visibility expert and virtual business strategist, which I find fascinating. You also have a background in releasing weight and keeping it off. So you're on the wellness side of all of this as well. And congratulations. I saw your picture when you were heavy, and just the difference is night and day, just so astounding. And you've kept it off for how long now?
I think I'm going on year 4. I need to do the math. And really, the weight is obviously, feeling comfortable in your clothes is a big part of it. But just overall, when you say business and wellness relate, that's so true. I've just, with the weight gone, I've actually also gone forward in leaps and bounds in my business and my professional world as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for that reassurance. Oh, look at there. You just got an alarm that said, yay, good job. So what I have found is, I know you're a visibility coach strategist, and what I have found is that when we pick the area that we're going to go into to help other people, there's a story behind it. There's a reason for it. We just didn't wake up one morning and say, I want to be a visibility strategist. Just like I didn't wake up when I was 6 and say I want to be a weight loss coach the rest of my life. So tell me, what was that turning point that you thought, I need to help others with this?
Right. So it starts pretty young. Are you guys getting feedback? I'm getting a little bit of a feedback.
A little bit. You're okay.
But if you're all good, I'm good.
Yeah.
It starts pretty young. I was diagnosed as a child with terminal cancer. I was not supposed to live. And because they had caught it too late, I was sent to, basically they practiced on me some alternative therapies that they had been doing in labs. And so I was in a children's hospital for close to 2 years, a year solid, and then another year on and off. And the ones who had their cancer caught soon enough, and they were in a better position than me, weren't making it. And these have become friends of mine. But I made it when I shouldn't have. And so that really opened my eyes young to alternative therapies and other ways of looking at possibly getting well, maybe merging mainstream with some other ideas. And so in that, I began creating, as I began to grow. Of course, I became a research nerd from a really young age, but as I began to grow and form my career, my college education is in business management and computer information systems. But once I got out of college, I went straight into publishing, and then I went into producing events. And I was the producer and founder of the very large Texas Natural Wellness Expos, which I loved. One of the things that I really loved about that was creating stages where these incredible nuggets of people who they were experts at what they did, but nobody knew them. And they certainly wouldn't know how to find them if they needed them. So that became my mission, to give those people a voice and a stage and help them to become more visible. Fast forward. And the virtual world started becoming a thing, and I decided to help people do that virtually as well. So it's not just in the wellness space anymore. It used to be, but I am definitely in the business of helping people who help people.
That's awesome. And you are right. There are like slices of industries that people aren't as visible. Health and wellness is one of them. There's people that do amazing things, have amazing practices, but they're not seen and heard from. And so what do you think their biggest challenge is? What's keeping them or holding them back from being more visible?
Number one thing, and this is my signature program, focus. We just try to get ourselves out there. So we kind of buckshot. We do a little bit of everything. We'll do some Facebook ads. We'll get on people's programs. We might even write a book or do a podcast, YouTube lives, whatever it might be. And we're just kind of buckshotting. But what I do is I help people really hone in and get focused on the top 3 things that they need to really put their time and energy in. Sure, you're going to do some of the other things as well, but your time and your energy needs to go into 3 things. It's scientifically proven that if you focus, you're going to get more impact for your efforts, right? So it's going to be different for everybody. So I have a system that I walk you through and help you hone it down to those top 3 that you need to be focusing on. And one little tip is I get to choose the first one because the first one is universal. And this is a huge mistake that I made that you guys get the benefit of learning from. And that is basically building and nurturing your own email list. That is your asset. That is an asset nobody can ever take away from you. They could take away Facebook, they can close down a podcast, whatever, but those are people who have raised their hand and said, I want to be part of your world. I like what you have to say. Let me hear more. And I had a list of over 18,000 people when I was doing the live events. And then once I slowly shut those down, I went ahead and stopped emailing them, thinking I was doing the right thing. I don't have an event to tell them about, so I'm not going to bother them. That was obviously the very worst thing that I could have done. These are people that wanted to know what I was up to and what I was producing and creating, and they would have been interested in these other things that I'm now creating. And so sadly, I lost all of those people who really did want to have a part in what I do. So, and there's a way to go about email that is not intrusive or irritating. And that is basically to know the language of the people that you're speaking to and what it is that they will want to hear, want to read. And you're just very generous with information. It's not about what you have to offer and what you want to do and what you'd like them to come to or what have you. You're actually being generous and giving them something. And there's just a natural reciprocal thing that kicks in. You give them something and they're going to want to do something in return. And you have an event, you let them know in the smallest type that you can, and then they're gonna respond to that. They're going to, first of all, want more of your information, and second of all, be thankful for everything that you've given them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think that is one of the areas, myself included, I kind of dismissed. And then I learned that that's a way to keep in touch and keep in contact with people. I have many people who reply to my emails now because they're getting something. They want to tell me they're getting something from it, or they want to share their experience. And it is a way of, especially now when we are so distant from each other, it's just another way to stay in touch. And I've really kind of learned my lesson and love it because I am getting those not only open rates, which is great. I mean, that's awesome, right? Yeah. Metrics are amazing to have and to know how to do that, but the relationships that are building. And of course, my strategy has always been relationships build clients. And so if you're building a business, doesn't matter what it is, if you have a relationship built with people and you've been giving them a lot of great content, like you said, there is this unspoken universal law that says that if you give me something, I need to pay you back in return for something. So
yeah, the law of reciprocity. And it's interesting. I like the way you put that. I call it friend raising. So very similar.
I love it.
And if you go to knock on a friend's door, you're not going to knock and say, hey, I want this thing. I mean, unless you need an egg for something that you're baking. But you know, you're like, hi, Sally. Hi, George. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
What's your life like? Oh, our lawnmower broke. Oh, I know how to fix lawnmowers. Let me tell you all about it. You know, whatever. And that's friendship. That's being generous.
Yeah, exactly. And I absolutely agree with you. So the same thing we would do in life. Again, here's a philosophy that it goes from business to life. Same thing we do in life is what we do in business when we're building friendships and relationships. Is you don't go out on a date on the first time and ask somebody to marry you. It's just maybe it's happened and maybe they lived happily ever after, but it's pretty darn rare. And most of the people would probably walk away going, that person's really creepy. So
That's a really good way to put it. You know, there's the long sales page thing that seems to be popular, which I don't like. But then you flip that sales page sideways and it becomes pieces of a letter that progress to the thing that you're wanting to ask.
right.
So you basically progress in like 4% to 8% little jumps so that they're on a journey with you.
Right.
Before you start asking them for things.
Right, exactly.
I really love that you said that your personal life
Mm-hmm.
directly affects your business life. That's something that I agree with 100% and is a big part of my program. People think, okay, my business life and my personal life.
Yeah.
You're one human being. And if your personal life is not in sync with your business life and vice versa, the whole life is off balance. So it is very important to be nourished, to be as healthy as you can be if you want your business or your profession, if you happen to work for somebody else, if you want your professional life to be the best that it can be. And a lot of people, their professional life is taking care of their families. That's a humongous job. And there's a lot of working parts. And to be your best for your family and all the things that your family is trying to accomplish together as a unit, you've got to be your best. And you can't be your best unless you look at it as all one. One relates to the other.
I love that you shared that because a lot of people do want to compartmentalize or put in silos business and life, personal, and it isn't that way. And so I'm grateful that you're reassuring us of that. But as the expert in this industry, the visibility, the event industry, what do you see that you would like to debunk? So this is my favorite part of these interviews. And you mentioned several things, but I'd love for you to either recap or if you have other things you want to share. For me, working in the weight loss industry, mine is don't diet. And everyone's telling you to diet. So what is your thing that you'd like to debunk in the industry you're in?
First of all, I love that, Vickie, because when I lost the bulk of my weight is when I stopped dieting. So I love that you said that. And the biggest thing that is not true is build it and they will come. You can build this amazing program. It could be perfect. It could help millions of people. But that's not how it works, because then what you're doing is you're going out and saying, hey, I have this program, you need to come see it. And that's just not how it works. People have to get to know you, love you. If they buy into you, they buy into the program. They're not going to buy into the program and then buy into you. So essentially, the first part of my particular program is we figure out who the bleep you are, what sets you apart, and how you trigger people in a good way, like how they resonate with you, and what is it about you that helps them take the next step in the area of your influence. And a lot of times we kind of suppress who we are, thinking we've got to be a business person. So I don't know how many people follow JP Sears, I think that's his name, Sears on YouTube. He's an emotional coach. And for the first part of his career, he hid that he was also a comedian. There was just this thing. He loved comedy. But he didn't think emotional therapy and comedy went together very well. And he really floundered in his career for many years until he allowed himself to be himself. And then people resonated, they bought into him, and he's a sensation out there. You may not agree with everything he says, but you love him, regardless of whether or not you're agreeing with. He gets a little bit into the political sometimes, and sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't, but it doesn't even matter, because I've grown to love this character of a person. And so I challenge everybody who's listening to really, what is it about you when you're just relaxed with family or around a bonfire with friends, whatever, that people always respond to? What is it that they would say, oh, Vickie, she's the one. She is so great at that, whatever. That's what you really want to begin being out loud. And I am a very reserved person. And when you try to translate through the screen, you have to be a little more animated and a little bit more of who you are. And that's basically the thing. You be you magnified.
Right.
And people will resonate with that. They'll grow to trust you. People do not buy what they don't trust. They have to buy you before they buy anything it is that you're selling.
So what I hear you saying is authenticity is the big part of it. Don't be who you think others want you to be, and certainly don't build programs without finding out for sure what your market wants. I hear that all the time, and that's really a mechanism for hiding, that they'll build these entire courses or these entire programs and then put it out there and no one will buy it because nobody wants it, because they're not supplying what their niche or their audience wants. They're supplying what they think they need. And that's two different arenas. So I appreciate you saying that. And the authenticity, I'm also very reserved. I'm also, an introvert by Myers-Briggs and highly sensitive and all that. Being on camera is not the easiest thing for me to do. And like you said, to amplify it a little bit more, but I'm still me. I'm still being who I am. I'm just being a little bit more energetic than on my, I guess you'd call my good days, or whatever you want to call that. I'm more like that, where I'm having a lot of fun, and that these are fun for me. So that's why this is an excellent opportunity to talk with other people and learn more about each other and to share it with my friends that are on Facebook. So what you've had a really, I want to use the word traumatic, because being sick so young, and that's a really heavy word. So maybe it's not the right one to use, but what do you wish you would have known?
I was health challenged.
What's that?
I was health challenged, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's scary. You may not have known that, you're awfully young, but to your parents, I'm sure it was very scary. What do you wish you would have known along the journey that you think would have made your journey easier?
That's a really good question. What would I have along that journey?
Well, any of your journey to where you are now. I mean, We have many paths in our lives. They always don't take us to the same place.
Right. Don't shoot for perfect, because in doing, perfection comes. So scrappy is the new perfect, right? People, first of all, they don't want polished and perfect because they're not feeling, especially in our day and age right now, they're not feeling polished and perfect, and they really can't relate to that. I am an overthinker. I am a research nerd. I want everything done just right. And it becomes, like you alluded to earlier, it becomes my excuse for not really getting the thing done. So be okay with imperfection. Actually embrace imperfection, because in that you get the feedback that you need that is vital for really moving forward in the way that you want to move forward. And that's really an ongoing lesson for me. The second I see myself stall, I know it's because I'm trying to get something in there perfect. And then I just, you know what, we're just going to go with it the way it is and see what happens.
Well, I love that for both, like you said, our business and our life, because we try to do that in our life too. We try to be the perfect girlfriend or boyfriend. We try to be the perfect coworker. We try to be the perfect parent, the perfect house, keeper, whatever it is that we're, and it's all facade.
Yeah.
It's all something that we're make-believing that everyone else lives that way. My countertops sometimes are very cluttered. And I don't look like the magazine. I just don't. But it's how we live sometimes, and it's livable for us. So I heard eons ago, when I first started speaking professionally, someone was actually speaking to our group and said, perfect isn't profitable, which really affected my business in a really great way, because that's when I started producing self-hypnosis recordings, and they are nowhere near perfect. And my first book has errors in it, and I'm not going to change them.
Yeah, I'm going to turn my volume down. Maybe that's making a little bit of feedback.
Maybe.
You know, that's really true, Vickie, because a lot of times we don't realize that that desire to have everything just right and perfect is actually one by one a brick that we're building between us and what we really want to get out there. It's also becomes a little bit of our free pass to take longer or to procrastinate on that thing. And absolutely, progress over perfection. Like, that's when you're going to really get things done. Just do it and go forward, and the perfection comes in the progress.
Right, exactly.
Whether it's dieting or trying to build a business or trying to create something new in your home, whatever it might be.
Right, exactly. I absolutely agree with you. We are on the same page. And so I would love for you to share, because I know you have something going on that I think a lot of people who are watching this now or watching this later would like to be involved in. So can you share about that, and I'll share how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. So I do a weekly, at least for the next 8 weeks, I'm doing a weekly virtual visibility lab, and it's free, virtual visibility power lab. Nice. But it's 1 hour every Wednesday, and essentially we touch on a different topic each time, and it helps you become more visible in your space, become more you out loud. And it really doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, or even if you're the CEO of your home, there's something to be gained for everyone.
Oh, that's awesome. And I love that you added that, the CEO of your home, because that's true. I mean, they wear, you know, I have my business, but I also still run our home pretty much. And so there's a lot, I have a page of stuff just for personal I need to take care of, as well as my business side. So it is very time consuming.
You seriously almost need like a business degree to manage a home, a business management degree, actually, to manage all the working pieces of home life. And especially when you add a career on top of that as well, there are so many moving pieces that always have to be tended to constantly.
Especially now too, with homeschooling, you know, the way that virtual schooling, so they've got that on top of it. So yeah, it's a very difficult position that gets undersold a lot of times. And so I want to reach out. Thanks for saying that, to reach out to all those who are CEOs of their home, and to own that, because that is who you are. You are running a business of your home.
Yeah.
So poweronpurpose.live, so you can check it out there, and she'll get you all the information that you need to be on the lives with her. And
yeah, I would just say that the website itself doesn't necessarily have the times on it. I'll make sure you get an email that gives you the exact time and the link to get in.
Yeah, perfect. And I have one more thing. So this is a question I've been asking everyone I interview, because I think that it would solve all of the world's problems if we could just get this straightened out. So when you put your roll of toilet paper on, do you put it on over or under?
Okay, so it's over, I guess. Yeah, over. Okay. Is that the right way?
Doesn't matter. I'm just glad one's on, so I don't care which way it's on. But some people are very, you know.
Patent, and the original patent said over.
There you go. There you go. You follow instructions well.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Thank you, Vickie. It's been a pleasure speaking with your audience, and I'm happy to anytime.
Oh, great. Thank you. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you as well. So until next week on Thursdays, I do these at 1 p.m. on a Facebook Live page, Eastern time, every week. So we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.